Hey, soul family. Much love and light. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're thriving. I know this unusual little ripple in our collective experience is new for some people, and to those who've been telepathically linked, uh, we're like, what? Finally! Oh, it's coming to pass. the greater, the greater collective all is becoming stronger than the individualized egos, for lack of a better way of saying it. Anyway, uh, so where were we? Oh, we were all in isolation. What are we doing while we're sitting here? Going nuts? No. All those on the spiritual path who've been working, who know what I mean when I talk about shadow work or other things, you you understand what it is to take the time to have the peace, tranquility in the space to just be and listen to the higher voices of the angels' wings fluttering above. Maybe they're butterfly wings and we're just all passed out in a green meadow. Okay, so enough of this third eye. What do we got going on? So I'll tell you what I'm doing in my isolation, and use discernment uh, when we're putting our fingers into the pond and stirring up the divine energies of the dream itself, playing with the fibers of the bigger cosmic dream. Because remember now, God's dreaming, and we're all a part of it, this whole universe. So for those of us who are awake, I hate that word because it's not distinguishable enough between awake, like I'm sleeping, eyes closed, I'm awake, walking around, eyes open. We understand it as the mind is asleep. So when everything comes to a halt, the body's no longer busy, so the mind becomes the spotlight. If somebody hasn't passed that over to the soul work, then the mind goes nuts, needing to fill it. Whereas if it's the soul doing the work, using the mind of the body, then the mind can translate, digest, comprehend the divine thoughts. See, we've got a brain, BRAIN, and in that, there's an AI, there's a computer program of artificial intelligence that was scripted by someone else, an outside party. Whatever, we all have the same translation thing. It's part of being human. But that story is 100% logical according to that computer program. And I say computer program, but don't mistake computer to be solely object technology, because that technology could be the human vessel by a race of beings who were a part of the dream long before Earth ever was created. So anyway, know in this coming time, it's all good. It's all well. There's no rush necessarily to make the whole world hear this right at once. We just need the 144 divine human angels to recreate the 100 monkey effect that science has talked about. The difference, though, is the 100 monkeys are waking up to a trick, a tool, a new mechanism, the new fad diet. The 144 angels in human bodies that wake up to a consciousness level thought. What they begin to comprehend is the thoughts. It doesn't matter if it's organic or inorganic. if the electricity creates enough of the thought essence, then that becomes manifested. There's a bit of a cloud level to the playground area of where we each get to dabble and practice. Whatever we think about, we create. We just don't realize how. And not a problem. But once enough of us realize how, then voila, we get to resonate it with a new reality because we write the reality. So I'm going to share some of my space coming up in these next few days, as long as our internet holds out. And just know that with discernment, I'm painting an energetic picture with every object I use in the frame. It's not so much to secretly pre-program everybody to anything. Because all I'm doing is kind of like with a spotlight coming over and pointing at something and showing part of the clues, part of the picture. We each have the ability to tap into our divine mind instead of a brain, but the mind is greater than the brain. So think of the brain as just the computer on the desk, and if it's being driven by soul, it's being used. So it's now the tool of the soul. Just like the mind has made the body the tool of the mind, now both the body and the mind become tools of the soul. And the soul says, love. That's it. That's all there is. Unconditional love. And may the greatest good and the highest timeline for all be what plays out ultimately. So now we all get free will of choosing what we like and don't like, preferences and all that. But realize if we make judgments, meaning if, let's say, I don't like a particular kind of meal, and my preference is I'm not very fond of it. Okay, so that's a preference. But if I say, therefore, and then I put anything else on there conditionally, I've just been the distortion that took pure love and rippled it out with some kind of negative energy. The preference doesn't do that. The preference might have, preference, but the preference doesn't insist on manipulating the outcome or circumstance, if that makes any sense. I don't know, sometimes I like getting lost here. But love, no expectations. We can have hopes, dreams, desires, whatever, throw them in how we want it to look, hope it would look, that kind of thing. But we're going to begin learning how to be gods. And I don't say that from an ego sense, because I guarantee you this is what it took to get the whole planet to this point, is we needed enough individuals of the 144 plus any more to comprehend and live the experience that the divine dream is this, us being awake on this planet of the earth with all of us neighbors and friends that we're all social distancing from. Now, no fear, right? We know it's a play. We know we're all acting parts. Our egos have really honed in on trying to explain and tell us that these are our parts, these are our roles, this is who we are, but step back from that, and God's there behind reminding us that, and God being at this point you can't prove it, but it would be the voice of God, and you can tell the difference. When a thought comes into your mind, in your head, you can tell the difference if it's a replay of a memory or a memory off of some kind of show you watched or a movie you watched, if it was like a recreation of the scene, it's in there, flavor. I mean, like if you wake up and you're lucid dreaming and you perceive the world around you a certain way, and you know, oh my God, Jumanji, I know I'm in this. For that moment, for that experience, for that level or chapter of the dream, that is true until you change it. We're always in a holodeck. What's confusing for most is they look outside themselves for proof of that holodeck instead of looking in to find the AI proof of the holodeck is inside our heads. We're hallucinating this entire planet experience. Don't worry, coming to this conclusion doesn't immediately make all of it unravel or disappear. We're about to collectively go through either a blackout or a whiteout. So if you're in fear, then the dream experience for a few days is going to seem like it's it's disappearing everything, turning it to shadows, haunting our thoughts. Well, they're all thoughts, haunting our spirit. Well, it's our spirit. The thoughts are coming in. Your own discernment choice of what you want to believe or not. That's all irrelevant, technically. But ultimately, I mean, we do create by our beliefs, but don't get the ego involved thinking your beliefs get to trump, no pun intended, other than the trump card in a card game. The Joker that pops up and says, I know a bigger truth than you, and can point at the king and make fun of him, and nobody could say anything because what's the king going to do if he makes any kind of a fuss? If the ones on top make any kind of a fuss, they reveal their cards. They reveal that they already know that the illusion lie is going on, so they're not going to say anything. But the power to the people, because all of the people, 8 billion of us, we plus all the other beings, we're here in service to others, other selves of God. Guarantee the ego wants to keep it on ourself or our group or our country or our team. Well, the whole planet is one team. 8 billion people playing on this team. Now, there's more players in this game than just us people. The animals are players too. The plants are players too. So there's more than 8 billion beings on this planet. I always thought extraterrestrials was like a second dose of terrestrial, like they've come back again and again and again, or they've somehow gone planet to planet, terrestrial to terrestrial. So maybe they not only did the terrestrial work, but they did extraterrestrial work. They stuck around. Anybody who ascended, my assumption, my understanding is they went into the light. They got taken away and never came back because they evolved to a point higher than this octave, than this game board bubble. So they octave out. Well, anybody who's here is a light worker who's truly doing their soul work and their shadow work, and they're like, okay, I'm sick of coming back. We're doing this for real, and we're getting it done, and we're fixing this whole planet. Well, those are the ones who stick around with peace and tranquility in the back of their mind because they found a way to program it in themselves. Once you realize you've been programmed, you stop believing everything and you deprogram. Either you let it go or you go in and deconstruct it and let it go in pieces if it's safer to do it in slow motion. But ultimately, you let all the beliefs go and then you just accept life for what it is. Life on life's terms, right? Whatever's in front of you. But now you get to reprogram yourself. You get to reprogram your schedule, reprogram your life. And it's not, you can cheat and just say, I'll take a carbon copy of what I had before. But remember, the game board, the earth herself is a player. Okay, so what am I talking about? So you got to know a little bit about me. I grew up in America, surrounded by Americans. So I always consider myself a Native American, even if whether recognized by blood or catalog or whatever, it didn't matter. But I didn't put any weight on it as better than some other nation. I just kind of was like, okay, here's my heritage. I looked back. Now I was always a sucker for love, uh, so this is one of my cool paintings that I have. I didn't do it though. Uh, but I was the guy. I was always looking for the love. Okay, so I followed love all the way through everything, past people, past everything. Um, this is the kind of person I am. So now, um, more trees. Uh, where are we at here? Okay, so I have this thing here, and I want everybody to see it. So we're going to change this, but for now it reads Native Americans' Ten Commandments. So I guess it's their version of the Bible's Ten Commandments. But as we're going to come to understand, it's Earth, all Earthlings, one nation, one tribe, one oneness of all of us. So it's Native human. The people who know they've been here since childhood, birth. So the earth is our mother. Care for her. Honor all your relations, not just your family. Everybody you come in contact with, everybody you see on TV and you believe that they're real, that's a relation you're developing with that individual. Even if they're not real, if they're just a hologram program, fake deep running, then you're still having a relationship or a relation with that entity. And how you play determines how the world will interact with you. So no more negative crap, because the negative is what is making the mess around us. We're trying to get back to tranquility and peace for everybody. Okay, so open your heart and soul to the Great Spirit, because that Great Spirit is what's trying to come through and show us all something. It's our truest divine essence from the octave above us, straight down the line into us, emanating outward from us. But it's not trying to hijack you. It's never going to take away your free will. Love for all, and just understand, it's all good. Okay. All life is sacred. Treat all beings with respect. All beings. That means anybody who's out there being, whether it's a squirrel or a butterfly or the neighbor, treat them with respect, no matter what animal, creature, no matter what. And don't do it because you have to. Do it because it's sacred. All life is sacred. You want others to honor your sacredness as a God being here on this planet who knows the inside scoop that you're of the divine source, then all life, treat it sacred. Okay. Take from the earth what is needed and nothing more. We might also go ahead and let the ego play a little bit of a role and say, however, add to it whatever beauty or expression of creation of love that you can. But that part's not a rule. People can just check out and be lazy like they've always been. Maybe they're here for that purpose. But anyway, I guess we need observers. Do what needs to be done for the good of all. You're in that all. You service to self, you're in that all. But you're not the all. All is you, and all is everything else too. Okay. So do what's needed to be done for the good of all. And this has ripples. When you do that, that's what your ripple is. That's what goes out. Like that message. So let's say you do a good deed for somebody. You're not doing it for the credit. You're not doing it for the ego, the pat on the back. You're just doing it because it's the kindness of your heart. And you look right into the other being's eyes and you just let him know, hi, here's what needs to be done. Now, you don't have to tell him that way. But
if you're assisting them and they're like, oh, why did you do that? You could just let them know, well, because it needed to be done for the good of all, right? Why? Well, when you're down on crashing on the bottom and you reach out, literally from the depths of your despair, you reach out for a power greater than you and you just say, whatever's out there, help. I don't care. I just get me out of this moment of reality. And to the power degree that it happened, you may or may not have experienced that boom. Like all reality shifted and Guardian Angel came down and helped you. Though you probably didn't realize it was Guardian Angel because you were that sucked into the dream thinking that the dream was real. We always think that this life is real, forgetting that it's a hallucination. But the point is to figure that out so that you can enjoy this experience for what it is and not for the illusion that somebody else gave us. Okay, give constant thanks to the Great Spirit for each new day. Very important. Each new day. Every day you wake up, every day you see that sunshine up there, look over your shoulder and say hi to it. Thank it for what it's giving you. It's warmth, it's light, it's inspiration. You can feel it in your bones when you step out in the sunlight and it's just like, oh, you melt. Okay, speak the truth, but only of the good in others. So when you're talking about other people, only be speaking the truth of the good in them. If you're speaking about the truth of the bigger truth, the all, that which is beyond all of us, then karma's gonna bite you in the ass if you're lying. But you still have the right to speak it because truth is truth. It does not matter, right? So if anything I'm saying is true, then it's irrelevant that even I exist and that I'm saying it. Other than if somebody out there gains truth from it, then power to the people. Okay, follow the rhythms of nature, not the rules of the calendar, not the laws of man's book that they keep writing. Let nature rhythm guide you. Rise and retire with the sun. Now, that could be read several ways. We're just going to let it sit. Enjoy life's journey, but leave no tracks. Pretty cool, huh? You leave 4 tracks when you walk. If you're walking in snow, your front 2 and your back 2. Now, if you're walking solo and you're doing your shadow work, you know that shadow's footprints is the metaphorical poem of the footprints in the sand on the beach. So what happens when you enjoy the life's journey and you get through all of this stuff and you get to start playing the game on the next level up, the next octave up in comprehension? You learn how to fly. Yeah, baby. And in bliss. That was me this past winter. So anyway, really tiny picture compared to everybody else. Okay, so now where are we at? This is what we're doing right now. We're imagine a world of peace, freedom, and the world changed. Okay, so now this is getting too long. I hope this uploads very well. Okay, so we're going to talk to the tree. This is what I do when I'm going to my sacred space. I create a little space. It changes all the time, but I create a little corner where I put that which is most sacred to me in it. Just so that every time I pass through, I get the wisdom of my history, of my consciousness. And in gratitude, echo out, knowing my every breath is consciousness of source, dreaming, and willing to tell others we're dreaming this existence. Okay, so each of us gets to a point of knowing that we are the I am,
and the I am is at, and then the M. Look into quantum physics to figure out what the M is. We already know the at symbol and what that's all about with the internet and all. Okay, so consciousness. Cloud ring runs around. It's the same clouds, but they are in rotation. We enjoy it. Sun and moon, night and day. The balance of it all. And in stillness, we have a candle and rainbow colors of the flame. Right now, you see white light. At some point in the future, we each will unlock the DNA and we will begin seeing the different per prism effect boundaries. You'll start to see the difference because you're getting an upgrade. And the grand solar flash is literally the reboot. The universe gets an upgrade and it just comes from the universe. Now, if that upgrade disempowers you, it is not a universal upgrade. So just know. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean shit hit the fan, because it might just be destructing of the old and a blank slate for the new. Blank slate. See, we're going to be given a chance to experience reality from a blank slate. The trick is going to be, don't let your ego fill that blank slate up immediately with all of its original old drama, because that's an agenda. And until now that you see the agenda, there's no point in participating with the agenda unless the agenda serves both you and the greater good of all. Because the only way we're getting through this is the greater good of all. We all know this. So anyway, we're going to look into the womb, the heart of the tree of wisdom, the tree of knowledge, the tree, not the tree of good and evil. The good and evil part is the polarity. That's the second dimension. You'll discover and get to work through all of that consciously when you're doing your shadow work and stuff. But these are our chakras, right? Red, orange, yellow, green at the heart, blue at the throat, that which we speak, the truth. It keeps on going up, indigo and violet at the crown. Now, this painting has, or it's actually a quilt, has all the butterflies who used to be caterpillars, but now they have become butterflies because they know how to fly. They know how to dream, this reality, and play along with the Great Spirit in the dream. Okay, so no ego here. This is not me. This is any individual who comprehends that they are a tree. You want to be grounded? Stop for a moment. Imagine the roots at your feet going down into and spreading out as deep as you can go, all the way until they cover the entire planet. Feel it. It gets powerful. Now, you're not going to be able to hold all of that energy, I guarantee it. So you better have a power greater than yourself, too. That's what led you to this point anyway. So that tree is a single neuron on the planet of Gaia. You happen to be a tree at the mind. And I, which is where your individual comes, that's where Source looks through you to perceive the light at the body, and Source, the light, the spirit, that which is doing the perceiving of you while you experience. Okay, so how balanced is your life? Is everything what you want? If it's not, find a way to paint a picture. So crystals and stones are cool. They hold a vibration. So let's see if we can look in here and find some really cool ones. Okay, so, oh, by the way, this is little dude who's guiding over all of us and keeping the wisdom. Thank you, sir. We appreciate everything. Okay, so, here we go. Truth. Speak the truth. This is blue tiger's eye. So anybody who knows their stones that knows tiger's eye, but this one not only has the copper base to anchor into the roots, but it has the fifth chakra of speaking truth anchored out, echoing out, emanating. Now I've got that sitting right in front of this geode toroid thing. This is echoing my desires. This is magic, for lack of a better way of saying it. This is knowing what the energy work, grid work is, and how to do it, and doing it for the right reasons. How do you know? Unconditional love. It's always about spirit getting to live as all of us. No, any one of us gets the entirety at the expense of the others. It won't work. It won't happen because it's a dream. So it can't. But anyway, that shows you, like, one, I put that in there specifically because no matter what I say, I'm speaking truth. I do not want any other frequency coming out of my mouth. So when I'm doing these kind of things, right, my own throat just gone. I can't talk in the moment if I'm about to say a lie or disempower somebody else or misdirect. The only reason I can be here, though, is because I'm above the love of the heart. I'm being guided by unconditional love, and I'm being manipulated into being that tool that that source greater than us is being, right? So it can't. If it was an illegal move and some other spirit were trying to incarnate me, or walk in or do something like that, right? The energy of where the thought resonates would feel different. Wherever the thought resonates, which chakras it's at, is giving you a hint at where to be looking. Okay, so I put these things. Each one has a different vibration that it holds. So here's an example. I love snow. So over the winter, I have this snowflake obsidian. Seeing as how it snowed here 3 inches, thereabouts, plus or minus, for April 1st, Fool's Day, this morning. Maybe I should back this one off of the, where was it next to? So it was in front of the citrine, which is amethyst that has the root chakra into it. So that was probably quite the echo. Maybe I should move it out of there and pull it, make it softer. Yeah, let's give us a break from that much snow, because we need spring at some point here. But so now this is not me saying, aha, I'm powerful, I can control the weather. It's me letting the weather clue me in to an aspect of truth that I need to be looking at as it resonates within me. So why is all of this not or allowed? Why is it allowed and not considered cheating? Because all of these dreams, all of these desires, right? They're not expectations. I haven't written them on the canvas of reality. I've simply written them on the canvas of my filter that I am going to live by when I look through my eyes, when I speak through my mouth. Because the I is your Godhead. It's not your ego. Because the me that each of us feels within when we shrink and go, what about me? That me is actually God, source. It's the same me in everybody. We're just sharing different individual characters, how we play the me based on where we came in on the game at and everything. But every single one of these, it's not I want a new car, and so I put a thing in for a car. I mean, you could do that, but that's your ego jumping in and asking for control. Ultimately, we're not wanting the ego's experience because the ego doesn't know how to experience. This is what the craziest thing is. Ever been in the middle of bliss moment and your ego just got to go do something and it can't shut up and it just won't let you enjoy the moment? Right. Oh, I'm realizing right now. Okay, so this isn't about me. Any desires that I have of what I want to have showing up in my life, I echo through my echo, through my torus, through my own field. This is just a metaphorical representation, but right now, think of it like this. You're looking through the mirror, okay? So like we're looking at the reflection through the mirror, okay? Of me. So you're getting this Tree Hugger Dave's filter, but you're also getting me, the God head, the divine conscious mind thought that's thinking through me. You're getting that me's perspective as well as Dave's perspective. And it's filtered through the tree of knowledge, wisdom perspective, right? So here's ultimately what I'm talking about. Ignore what the snake said and what the charmer and the oil and all of that sellers and all the dealers, and it doesn't matter what tool you're using, you're divine. If you know that, then you're already there. You're at center point of source. You're at the existence of here on earth. You am. You are you're being the amness. You don't need to do anything to make it happen. Now, the longer you can sit with some visualization of this kind of stuff, then that gets burned into your psyche. This is what the meditators know. It gets burned into your psyche. Then when you leave that spot and go elsewhere, all of life is a meditation, because this is my filter by which I live. That's what's burned into my psyche. Why? Because I chose it. And I gave everything a meaning. This is what a divine artist... Okay, so when a true artist puts meaning in every object that they put. Why? Because you're at perfection right there with a blank slate. Anything you add on to that is a distortion. So if you're going... The divine dream is beauty. It's the... How close can you get to love? And you can't actually get love out of art. You can only get the reflection. And the reason for that is love itself is a reflection. It's the first distortion. It's the mere reflection of the God source. So God is first, source, the truest being of consciousness. And love is the reflection on the mirror. Then it comes back, and whatever's in front of the mirror usually assumes what they're seeing is what's out there to be seen, rather than realizing who's behind them, seeing through them at their perspective of reality. The creators that are going to successfully make it through all of this and be in the limelight, per se, once we begin the golden age. Once we fully get into it, everybody's going to be in the limelight. But those creators know how to trust love and let love guide us. And I'm not talking like lust love. I'm talking love. True, the same expression that any creature mother has when they look at their child. Human or not. So, love and light to everybody, and I will talk to you again soon. Life is good. Keep thriving.